Welcome back, EALD students, to yet another video for EALD, and this time we're going to look at comparing styles of writing. Previously, we have already looked at one other video where we've discussed different styles of writing, and that was for academic writing essays, like discursive essays, as compared to letter writing. So now we'll be looking at three new genres. Let's get right into it. Okay, so the first genre will be feature article. This is just to recap everything again. Basically, when it comes to feature article writing, the most important part of it when it comes to style is that you need to establish your tone. So when you write your introduction, you need to determine the tone of voice you are using. You need to basically be informative and entertaining at the same time. So it's not just about giving information to people, but it is also about entertaining them. You need to educate your readers and keep them feeling entertained. So some of the ways that you can do this, it's by using humor. So a lot of writers, they will use humor to keep their readers entertained. You can be funny, you can be witty, you can use, a lot of irony or sarcasm, even hyperbole, which is also known as exaggeration, and various other rhetorical devices or persuasive techniques at this point to be entertaining. They will still continue to educate their readers, while maintaining the light tone of being humorous. If you feel you can opt for this option, go ahead and try to be funny in your feature articles. Another way to attract the reader's attention is by using descriptive language. And a lot of writers will try to entertain their readers by describing the scenery, or they could describe like the place that they have visited, or even the people that they are interviewing. The writer named Olivia Rose started her article with like a funny bit, but then she continued on to transition to become a more descriptive and laid back tone. Now let's look at an example of her article. I'm going to play some music. Feel free to pause so you can continue reading the paragraph. Okay, alright, so moving on, staying informative. Okay, being entertaining is important, but don't forget to be informative. The best is to combine both into your writing. Okay, so the next genre that we will be looking at is called argumentative writing. So, argumentative writing, what exactly is that? The purpose is to put forward the author's stance on a particular topic in a concise manner. So it follows the convention of academic writing, which is formal language. You must make sure that you have your thesis statement, your topic sentences with your main points clearly stated. You also have to maintain a formal tone of writing style. You're not allowed to use personal pronouns if possible. And yeah, it's not supposed to be personal like the feature article. It should not be funny like the feature article. It's not supposed to be entertaining in that way. It's supposed to be very, very strictly academic. You're supposed to get the reader to recognize the author's stance and arguments that are valid. So basically, when you have a debatable issue or something like that, and you write an essay, it'll be an argumentative essay, and you as the writer, you're trying your very best to convince your reader to agree with your point of view. So what you do is you support your arguments with evidence and examples. You always try to back it up with as much information as possible. Every single data, very descriptive examples, very specific examples must be included in your essay. You use persuasive techniques that focus on facts and logic, acknowledges the counter-argument in a separate paragraph but reaffirms stance. So you have this one paragraph. This is the unique thing about argumentative writing. You have this one paragraph that is meant to be the counter-argument paragraph. It is that one paragraph whereby you do not talk about your main point, as in your main point that supports your arguments. You basically talk about the opposition's main point, and you point out the flaws to that argument. We're going to look at the example later on. Okay, so the structure of argumentative writing is the typical. You have your introduction, like I said, you meet your thesis statement, 3 to 4 main ideas, and you have that one opposing idea, the counter-argument, which can be refuted to affirm your stance. So you point out the flaws to that opposition's arguments. And then finally, you have your conclusion. So organization of your ideas depends on you and the question requirements. You can choose to have 2 ideas supporting the topic and 1 opposing idea, or 3 ideas opposing the topic and 1 opposing idea, and vice versa. So when it comes to ways, we're not that particular about which is which. Oh, you must have this one paragraph where it's like this, and not really. We're okay with you being creative about it. All right, moving on. So let's look at the introduction of the school uniform question. So the school uniform question was about whether or not school uniforms should be allowed in school. Like, should we have school uniforms? Is it a good thing, basically? So this is the introduction, and you can see that the first part, that part that says self-expression, is a fundamental part of society in many countries, and most people believe in the right to express their own individualism, so on and so forth. That basically is called the hook. It gets the reader interested. Why? Because when you look at it, you're thinking, hey, yeah, you're right. People like to dress themselves, and that is part of the way to express themselves. So that's the hook. And then you have your elaboration, which is extra connecting information. The issue is school uniforms. Should school uniforms make individual decisions? Should school students make individual decisions about clothing? Should all students be required to wear a uniform? And then you have your thesis statement. So this thesis statement is very bare. It is super basic. It does not mention exactly what those 3 reasons are. You can do this, or you can be specific and actually state those 3 reasons clearly. All right, let's look at the body paragraph. So this is the first body paragraph. I will let you all read it as I play some music. Feel free to pause if you need. So basically, the first sentence is the topic sentence. You can see the main point very clearly. It's basically to make lives simpler. That's why school uniforms are good. And then you have your arguments with explanation and examples. Okay, so the examples are pretty great. They talk about how, when it comes to outfits, it's very difficult for you to choose. Every morning, you also get to save money. So it's a lot of benefits. And then you have your concluding sentence. Moving on. All right, so this is another body paragraph. Oh, sorry, this is not the this is another body paragraph, but this is basically the counter argument paragraph, whereby you take the opposition's flaws and you take the opposition's main points and you point out their flaws. For example, in this case, opponents of mandatory uniforms say that students who wear school uniforms cannot express their individuality. So it's again about that whole argument about we should be able to wear whatever we want because that is how we express ourselves. Individuality is important, so on and so forth. And then you have your arguments with explanations. And so there's so many things. This point has some merit on the surface. However, as stated previously, school is a place to learn, not flaunt wealth and fashion. Society must decide if individual expression through clothing is more valuable than improved educational performance. It is important to remember that school uniforms are worn during school hours only, and students wishing to explore self-expression or advertise the monetary value of their parents through clothing can still do so outside the classroom. Obviously, then, compromising educational achievement of students simply for some extra time asserting individualism or status is not a desirable outcome. The argument is very valid. Okay, they completely refute the counter argument of individuality and expressing yourselves. It just shows, that you don't have to express yourself in school because school is where you're supposed to think about your education. You can self-express outside of school. There's that thing that you can do, and you don't have to just think about expressing yourself in school, you can do that outside. You can flaunt yourself outside. So it's a really good counter-argument paragraph. All right, so let's move on to the next genre, and it is going to be speech. So the speech writing style, right? Basically, it's going to be the same thing. You have your introduction, you have your body paragraphs, you have your conclusion. You can stick to that specific style, or you can be very, very creative about it and be just like Oprah Winfrey or Jesse Williams or whoever else that we've studied so far in Unit 4. And you'll notice that their structure is very free, despite the fact that their speeches are very well written. Okay, so you follow the Peel style of writing. You have your topic sentence, you have your elaborations, you have your evidence and examples, and your linking sentence. But basically the main thing is that thing right here. Use lots of persuasive techniques. You're expected to use as many as possible if you can when you write your speeches. Whatever it is, it depends on your writing style. You could be like Oprah and use a lot of anecdotes, or you could be like Paul Keating, who prefers metaphors. You can go ahead and mix the techniques. You know, there's so many that we have listed out for you, and that list is not exhaustive. There's so many more persuasive techniques out there, and if you know how to use it and you're very confident, you can create your own metaphors, you can create your own similes. Go right on ahead. In fact, we really encourage that for students. We want to see that style of writing when it comes to speeches. We expect students to be as persuasive as possible. And how do you be persuasive when it comes to speeches? You use persuasive techniques. Okay, so let's look at part of speech. This is a very great speech. It is known as I Have a Dream, and it is by Martin Luther King. I'm going to play some music, and you guys feel free to pause if you need to read it more. Okay, so what makes this speech so great? It is because it's got this very powerful phrase. It has this phrase called I have a dream. So they used it so many times. Martin Luther King repeated it multiple times in his speech, so you should do that too. Use repetition in your speeches. It creates a create a powerful phrase like I have a dream, something like that. Repeat it again and again, and it makes a speech powerful. It really does. And I feel that the sound of it, the style of your writing, you can immediately know if it's a normal essay or if it's actually a speech. You want that style. Basically, you want to make sure that you have that style. It's always different from other types of genres. So in this case, you have to be as persuasive as possible and use techniques like repetition. And that is not just limited to that. You can try, using metaphors in there, as I've said. You can use alliteration, you can use rhetorical questions, personal pronouns, inclusive language. What else is there? Hyperbole, sarcasm, irony, several others in the list. And still, that is not the end of it. You can continue on and research and find other persuasive techniques, other rhetorical devices, and you may use that as well for your speeches. All right, so I think that's about it. Yeah, thank you so much for listening.